I will be doing a quick tank review for the German Tier 4 heavy tank, the DW2, or otherwise known as the Dorfwagen Tor. The name Dorfwagen Tor literally translates from German to English, meaning breakthrough wagon, which is named appropriately so as the DW2 was originally designed to be a breakthrough tank. This tank itself, for being a tier 4 tank, it is not that good nor bad for a heavy tank for its tier. This tank, for most people, you will go through it ASAP to move on to the VK 3001H. The one good thing that I like about the DW2 and the B1 that you have a preferred matchmaking, so you will get yourself into a tier 4 up to a tier 5 match maximum. So it is 50-50 if you're going to be top tier or not in a match. Now, let's get into the vehicle stats. Let's begin off with the firepower for the DW2. The main gun you're going to be using is the 5cm gun here. It is slightly better than the previous top gun that you would have had been using on the PZ3A. What is good about this 5cm gun? You have a good damage per minute with this gun. The gun, it is accurate enough so you can somewhat snipe with it if you have to. You have a good aiming time, loading time, and rate of fire. This is assuming you have a fully trained crew in this tank here. Unfortunately, the bad thing about this tank gun is you have the same decent pen and the low damage output per a shot with this gun, just like the previous 5cm gun. Besides that, if you want to do a lot of damage within a short amount of time in the match, you have to fire a lot of rounds into the enemy tank. The turret traverse is good at 44. The gun depression, it is good, 10 degrees downwards, so you can hill fight with this if you have to. Gun elevation, it is good at 20 degrees up. Now, the vehicle armor and the hit points. You have a good amount of hit points, 440, so you can take a few hits before you are killed. The armor itself, it is good and it is bad. Most tier 4s and 5 can penetrate your armor easily enough if they have a high penning gun. Besides that, low penning guns that have a problem penning your armor will ricochet off of your armor if they are not yielding premium ammunition on you. The armor all around, it is 50mm, front, side, and rear. The good thing about the armor being flat is that 50mm, if you angle it well enough to the left or to the right for the piece of armor, you can ricochet enemy rounds with that armor if you angle it well enough for the 50mm, so it would be 50mm plus. This tank have all of the traditional weak spots still: machine gun, nest, lower plate, driver's vision port, Kepler, and etc. With a well-placed shot from the front or side, the crew members and the modules can be damaged easily enough still. Be careful about that. For a heavy tank, this tank, it is mobile enough still, weighing about 30 tons total for the upgraded. With the 300 horsepower engine, the horsepower to ton ratio, it is about 10 horsepower to 1 ton. That means you will have a problem at times reaching the top speed of 35 kilometers when you're on flat terrain at times. Unless if you or on flat terrain going in a straight line. Besides that, you can easily reach the 35-kilometer mark when you're going downhill only. The reverse speed is good still at 12. The whole reverse speed it is 30. The hull and the turret can turn around quickly enough if it have to. The camouflage rating for this tank it is completely rubbish for a heavy tank. So expect to be seen by most of the enemy tanks that is going to be seeing you. This is where the view range and the signal range for the radio it is good. The view range it is 330 meters. That is not that bad, nor good for a heavy tank at this TL. If you want to increase the view range even more, go with coated optics or binocular telescopes. The radio range, it is quite good for the top radio here. You have about 750 meters for the signal range, which is amazing for a tier 4 vehicle to have. Now, let's cover the research part of the tank now. The research for the tank is a easy tank to go through. The majority of the equipment you're going to be using, it is transferable from the German light tank line or the medium tank line. Let's begin off with the tracks. You will have to get the second pair of tracks to mount all of the equipment onto the tank here. The whole traverse changes from the first pair to the second. 32, 32. Engines, you have 3 to use. The first one, it is 250 horsepower. The second one, you have to research it. If you want to use it, you have 15 horsepower more. While the top engine here, it is the best engine here to use. The 300 horsepower engine will give you the best possible horsepower to ton ratio on the tank here. The top engine here, you would have had it unlocked already as it is usable on the Sturmamir and the VK2001D, which is a rarity tank as you do not see it a lot in the matches that you play. Now let's cover the radios. Coming from the 3A to the DW2, most likely you will have the FUG7 unlocked already. But the best radio that you have to use here is the FUG12 radio. This is the best radio here. Use it right away if you have it unlocked already, as it is usable on a lot of German vehicles within the tech tree. If not, then research this so you can use it right away. Turrets. To move on to the VK3001H, you have to research the second turret. From the first turret to the second turret, the only difference between these two turrets are you have a bit more hit points and better gun handling stats. That is it. So use the top turret as it offers you better gun handling stats and more hit points. The two guns you have to use, it is a short 75mm howitzer. This gun, it is not that good nor bad if you do not mind howitzer stats. But the best guns that the tank have to offer you, which I find to be more reliable compared to the short 75mm howitzer, the 5cm gun here. I will do a quick comparison between the PZ3A 5cm gun to the DW2 top 5cm gun. Both of these guns perform roughly the same, except for the L60 it is slightly better. You have a faster rate of fire, better pen, a bit more accurate of a gun, with a slightly better aiming time, 2.3 compared to 2.2 here. Besides that, both of these guns perform roughly the same. So if you can use the 5 centimeter gun L42 well enough, then you can use the L60 gun easily enough. The L60 gun, you would have had this gun unlocked already, as it is usable on the German medium line and the light tank line. The VK3001H is a good tank when it is fully upgraded. I did a review for this tank already. It is on my channel if you want to look it up. Now, let's cover the consumables, the ammunition layout, the equipment, and how are you going to be playing the DW2. Let's begin off with the consumables. Consumables, I would go with a first aid kit and a repair kit. Tool, treat the crew member injuries and to repair module damage that you will be taking. You carry a lot of ammo, 120 rounds. That means you will never run out of ammo in a match with this tank gun. The primary ammo type you're going to be using, it is AP and a PCR. AP, you can pen most targets easily enough if you know where to shoot at with this ammo type. A PCR is a useful ammo type to use still if you have a problem penning the heavily armored targets that you will be encountering from tier 4 up to tier 5. I would only use a PCR primarily on the heavy tanks armor that you will be encountering. A PCR round is a good idea to use at times if you want to make sure the round it is going to be penning the enemy tank. A PCR will cost you 2,000 credits or 5 gold. HE, it is a useful ammo type to use still, as it can pen most thinly armored targets still at this tier range still. Mostly light tanks and the artillery pieces that you will be encountering at this tier range. Now, the equipment that I am using. I went with binocular telescopes to increase my view range up to 440 meters, so I can technically be a passive scout while being a bit of a sniper as well when I have to. Besides that, the other pieces of equipment that you may want to use is vents for the improvement of the tank and the crew as well for the 5% bonus toward the crew skill. Wet ammo rack, do not use it. Toolbox to get your repairs done faster. The heavy spall liner, do not use it as it doesn't improve the tank performance by much. The enhanced gunning drive, it decreases a already good aiming time by 10%. Coated optics for a permanent view range increase by 10%. Binocular telescope, the additional browsers, do not use it. It doesn't improve the tank performance by much. The medium caliber tank gun rammer to decrease a already good loading time by 10%. The torsion bar, do not use it. It doesn't improve the tank performance by much. Same thing with the camouflage net. Now, let's cover the way you are going to be playing the DW2. The matchmaking for this tank, it is tier 4 up to tier 5. That means, no matter what the matchmaking throws at you, You can do quite well in this tank if you know what you are doing. The primary role for the DW2 is you are going to be a front-line tank. Rather, you are going to be a very aggressive front-line heavy tank, or as a support tank. The other role that you can fill as well, if you have to, when you have the binocular telescope on, you can be a passive scout and also snipe as well, as you have somewhat of an accurate gun. Besides that, your primary role it is going to be frontline duties only. I have one replay to show you how well you can do in the tank when you are top tier. Let's go to that replay now. This replay, I will show you how well you can do in the DW2 when you're top tier and playing toward the vehicle's strengths and weaknesses. Let's speed this replay up a bit. First thing first, I'm heading to the city. This match I am using the 5cm gun. I find this gun, when it's being used on the DW2, it's quite good on the tank here, as it's a frontline tank here. The 5cm gun, in theory, on the DW2, if you can take advantage of it, you have a high rate of fire gun, which means with the decent pen and damage output, in theory, if you have short distance combat encounters, you should do quite well with the gun on the tank here. I got some shots on the locust there. Me and the team took care of the locust quickly enough. Now I am getting into a position where I can support my team in the city here. I will be requesting help in this part of the city to finish off the tanks in the part of the map here. I lock on to the Type 91. 2 shots hit. At this range, I cannot miss my target. Z made a 1, took the driver out. I finished the LTP off when it was on low health. Z M3 that came to this part of the map. I switched to a PTR rounds to make sure I can pen the target easily enough. Now we are in the lead for the kills. With things how they are going at the moment, I am pushing towards the base here with what little help I have. The one thing I like about the 5cm gun, if you can make use of it, is you can actually make short work of tier 4s and below by killing them quickly enough. At this header here, you'll see I almost killed it within a short amount of time with the gun here. If the gun was finishing loading a second sooner, I would have had finished the header off. Fortunately, I killed the header. This is where I get to show you how well you can angle the armor on the DW2 to ricochet enemy rounds. I repair the ammo rack. With the ammo rack we repaired, my rate of fire it is back to normal. So I can continue shooting more APCR rounds into the Valentine tank there. With the angling that I have to my frontal armor here, there is a high chance for the Valentine gun to ricochet off the armor here, unless if it can find a piece of armor that it can penetrate easily enough. Now I am in a dangerous position. I am by myself. By a ally in the area here, with the majority of the enemy team in the area here still. The PZB1, the DW2, and what other tanks are in the area still. I am not going to survive much longer as the B2 finished me off. This replay I did quite well for being a top tier heavy tank. For the 5 kills that I got, I did about 1,400 damage when I added in the assist damage on top of it. With the damage blocked by my armor, I blocked about 500 damage. That is not too bad for being a top tier heavy in the match. I almost got myself a top gun medal though in this match, so it definitely proves that the DW2, if it played right, you can do quite well in this tank. Let's go back to the garage now to do a brief recap on the tank itself. Let's do a brief recap on the DW2. This tank, when it comes to the stats, it is not that bad nor good. It is just average. The one good thing about it is you have perfect matchmaking between tier 4 to tier 5. That means if you know what you are doing in the match and play toward the vehicle's strengths and weaknesses, you can do quite well in this tank easily enough. Besides that, this is going to be one of those tanks that you're going to be moving through ASAP as possible to move onto the VK3001H, which is a good tank when it is fully upgraded. Remember, if you play toward the DW2 strengths and weaknesses, you can do quite well in this tank. I hope that you learn a thing or two about the DW2 and how to play it properly. If you like this video, leave a like, a comment, and even follow my channel as well. Good luck on the battlefield, everyone.